Hey, welcome to the final part of my SILENTHILLF Complete Platinum walkthrough. New Game Plus Plus, and this is part 24. We're just in the main hall very briefly, then we're going back into the village area, going to make our way back up to residence and get ready for the final boss fight. For the final boss, you want to make sure you've got about 3 teas, 3 Higashi, and about 10 to 15 Divine Water. The Divine Water is probably the most important. Higashi probably second most important, and then of course you've got a tea, which can be quite useful. But a tea does run out very quickly, so I wouldn't say you definitely need it, but it does help. So my build, going back, because now we've got a fox arm as we make our way back up, I'm going to go with the weasel, beetle, cuckoo, and the elephant. Do not equip Tanuki yet, because we want to get our health knocked down to critical on these next few enemies. Then that will make it so Cuckoo will work, and then we'll go and equip Tanuki afterwards. So once ready, over here and interact with the doll. There's going to be 3 enemies on Lost in Fog difficulty on this specific encounter. I think it's Lost in the Fog. I don't think it's connected to the ending. I think it's because of the difficulty. But yes, take out these 3 enemies and try to get knocked into critical health at the same time. Remember, we have not got Tanuki equipped, so you should be taking normal health damage. And just a quick reminder on my Mario setup, we've got Weasel, Beetle, Elephant, and of course Cuckoo. We've got them equipped. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to kill the first 2 enemies normally, and I'm going to just attack the first one separately and try to let her knock my health down, like so. Just be careful because they can hit very hard, and if you want a guaranteed way to kind of kill them without taking damage, dodge away, do a focus attack, and then that will stun them once they get within range, and then just a few more attacks should kill them, like so. Okay, so that's all these enemies in this first encounter. So now I'm going to equip Tanuki. We're going to change the build very slightly now. So now we are going to finally equip Tanuki. Yes, equip Tanuki and swap Elephant for Hound. So you want Tanuki and swap Elephant for Hound. Yeah, so on the way up, we're going to be grabbing... Well, on the way to the next boss, we're going to be grabbing 2 Higashi and 2 teas. There'll be a few more Divine Water. So if you've got 1 tea and 1 Higashi, that's fine. Like I say, there's 2 more left to collect. And there's a few Divine Waters. But you should have plenty of Divine Water. Once beat them, carry along here. And once you get to this kind of second junction, I believe it was, go left. Come to save point. Yeah, the first junction took you right, just to some items we're not going to be using. I'm going to sell any offerings. I've got any expensive ones, for example, like antique comb. And I'm going to grab this tea. There's a tea on this barrel near the save point, so grab that if you need it. I've got 2 so far, teas, so 1 more, and then I have 3 ready. In that van was a first aid kit, but of course I don't need it. Now for the second encounter, yeah, this is a lot more difficult than what it is back on the other difficulties. Yeah, so for this one, you'll get that beast come. There's going to be 4 enemies here. So first of all, try to take out the beast. If you use a focus attack to stun it, and then a few light attacks, that should finish him off. So you've got the beast, you've got the doll, and you've got the glass enemy, or screaming enemy, whatever you want to call him. Take out the beast first, because he's the one which will pose the most risk. And I think once you took out these, I think 1 more doll spawns. I think it's a doll. Yeah, you don't have elephant, so if they're screaming, make sure you stay out of the way until it's finished. Otherwise, you'll just completely waste that focus attack, like I just gave you a good demonstration of. So here it is, the 4th enemy, like I say. It'll be a beast, a doll, a screaming enemy, and then 1 more doll at the end. And the final encounter is going to be 9 enemies, so quite a big difference to the other difficulties. I'm just going to continue up a bit more. I'm going to use some immunes, just because I'm going to be getting rid of them soon. And on that bicycle is a Higashi on that seat. I didn't take it because I've got plenty. But if you want another Higashi, yes, on that bicycle seat, guys. Then going to carry on up the hill. Once you reach this monsters on the right, you're going to go left into the garden area. Grab the antique comb on the right there. Carry on up these steps. Past these enemies near this bench. I think that's a yolk in there, which I avoided. But you can grab it if you want to. I'm going to smash this egg and then grab this immune behind it. Any immune items you get, you can use them. All we want to keep, like I say, is 3 tea, 3 Higashi, and 10 to 15 Divine Water. Now I'm just going to knock out this enemy, just so I can use the shrine and recover my mind. Yes, clear my mind, get all my sanity back. This beast is just down that path, just beyond the shrine slightly. Just past the shrine on the left, there's a small path leading to the house, which is locked. Yeah, he comes from there on this difficulty. So take out a beast, take out the doll, guys, and you want to use the shrine. You definitely want to use the shrine. Like I say, there's a big encounter coming up. It's quite tricky. You might also want to make a save here, just in case you do make any mistakes or use any items you didn't mean to. And if you spawn here rather than a checkpoint, you know you've not saved the game with an autosave after using a consumable, which you want to keep. So I cleared my mind. Like I say, record your progress if you want to. If you come down here, it's just a chocolate bar. I don't need that, but just showing you where it is. So chocolate bar down there if you need it, and then continue upwards. So up here is your last Divine Water in the town area. So straight up here beneath the shelter, there it is, the Divine Water. So like I say, 9 enemies. And if I'm perfectly honest, this is maybe the last hard fight in the game. With the build we're going to be using for final boss, this will probably be harder for some people, because there's a lot more enemies now. The first wave will be 3 enemies. You've got 2 dolls and the beast. So be very careful, guys, and try to take them out. This is why I wanted to bring my health down. I want to be doing as much damage as we could at this point. You can use your beast mode if you want, but you're probably better to save it for a giant monster at the end. So take out 2 dolls and the beast quickly, and then 2 more beasts will spawn next and take them out next. Remember, a focus attack will stun them, and with Hound, it's going to allow us to get a bit more health back when we kill them, so a bit more sanity back. If you don't kill the first 3 enemies quick enough, sometimes the next 2 beasts will spawn a bit earlier. Not earlier, but they spawn before they've been killed, and they can overlap. So if you don't play your cards right, you might end up with 3 beasts all at once, and you don't want that, so that would be a little cuckoo. So to make sure you quite quickly clean all these enemies. Then once you kill the next 2 beasts, you'll next get a doll and a screaming enemy which will spawn. So it'll be a doll and a glass enemy. I think them 2 beasts are kind of new actually. I think they only spawn on this difficulty, the extra 2 beasts. And once you took out that doll and the glass enemy, the last one are the giant monster and the doll, which, as you know, always spawn right at the end of this encounter, as per every single difficulty in Silent Hill F. So going to take out a doll first quickly, then hopefully got some focus left. Use 1 focus attack to stun the giant enemy, and then just slash him a few times light attacks to finish him off. And I did not even have to use beast mode. So if you do have to use beast mode, you can do. You just want to make sure you've got your bestial gauge ready for the boss near coming up in the next area. So if you use bestial form, you can use 2 divine waters now to charge up your bestial meter. That way when you start the next boss fight in fox form, you can go straight into your bestial form, your beast mode. And then carrying up, and you see Ma and Pa. They invite you in for dinner. You'll get upset because it's not quite what you wanted to eat. You wake up, realise the thing's a little bit cuckoo. I'm going to continue forward, so we're back on the shrine path. Going to change our build slightly now. There's a few weak encounters just on the way to the boss. They're very weak. I think you got 2 dolls, a beast, and then a beast and a few other enemies. Of course, there's a few more enemies because we are lost in the fog. So my build is Tanuki, Weasel, Wolf, Otter, and Spider. Tanuki, Weasel, Wolf, Otter, and Spider. With the cuckoo, I'm not just bringing that up just so I can say that word. With that specific Omamari, I did try to factor that into this build for the final boss. But the problem is, when you start the final boss fight, you start with full health and sanity. So if you let the enemies just before knock you into critical, it'd be a complete waste of time, because once you start the final boss fight, you're back at full health. So this is why, and just trying to bring your health down during boss fights is too much messing about. So it's not really a accessible strategy. I mean, if you know what you're doing and you kind of perfected the fight, yes, you could probably implement it then. But yeah, in terms of like an accessible strategy, it don't really work for this one. But there, near that shrine, there's normally a blessed hand mirror on the shrine if you don't have one. And then beside it, you've got a bandage, a crowbar, and I think it's a yoken on the side. But continue on to the far door. Once you reach this far door, you're now going to have 2 dolls like normal, but there's also going to be a beast. We want to try to keep our 3 knives with full durability, by the way. So if you do use your knife, just make sure you keep swapping between them, guys, so you keep raising durability. The weaker enemies here will die pretty quick, so it can be a good way to raise durability of your other weapons, providing you're using the otter on Mamori. You might even just want to use the I wouldn't say, I almost said dual blade, the sacred sword. Yeah, you might want to use sacred sword because that's definitely going to raise the durability of all 3 knives. And once you killed them all, you've got a toolkit, divine water on the left, then over here you've got a Arari and also a tea. That's the final tea you're going to find. So I've got 2 at the moment, so I want to make sure I take this one, and then I've got 3. I'm going to replace that toolkit. If you have got any toolkits and you're about to replace them, what you might want to do is first use them just to restore durability on one of your weapons. Because why not? Better to use than to just discard it. Unless of course you've got no use for it, it's not really much you can do. You could try to sell it at the shrine, but it's not really something you can delay. You need the space, you need it right now. Push the door open, continue forward, so it's going to be another few battles. Sorry, enemies, there's one more battle to come up. If you can take out the eggs to begin with, then they shouldn't hatch into anything. You don't want any chicken on Mamori's hatching, so take out all the eggs quickly. I think they take 2 knives or so to kill. There's 1 egg there, you've got another egg over here. You've got a beast, he'll be upset because you're attacking all his little babies. Took out the beast, he died pretty quick. Another egg, and an enemy normally jumps in on the middle. That doll enemy, she always jumps in on Lost in the Fog. That's it, that's all the enemies down. My durability is quite low on my knife, but there's actually another knife at the end of this area. So if one of your knives is quite low, don't worry about it. There's another toolkit and another kitchen knife at the end. So I'm just going to replace that weak one. Once some enemies are dead, push this door open. Yeah, there's actually a toolkit in that arena as well, which we just left. Yeah, there's a toolkit. There's a first aid kit, bandage, I think, and a sledgehammer. Now in this room, you've got a dried carcass, a antique comb. I'm running out of space just due to all those divine water. How many do I have 27 divine water? Yikes, that is a lot of divine water. I've got way more than what I need. 27. I reckon that's about 31 in the game altogether. I've used, how many divine water have I used? Try and think back, but my memory is not very good. Especially when I record videos daily. Yeah, I've probably used about, what, 2 or 3 divine water, I think. Maybe 4. So it's probably, yeah, it's probably just over 30 in the game altogether. But yeah, grab all the loot in that small room which you need. If you don't have space, just sell some and then grab the next piece and then sell that. Like, for example, the antique comb and the dried carcass. Now here is a kitchen knife. So I'm going to take that kitchen knife and replace my broken one. Now I've got 3 fully restored kitchen knives. There's a bandage, there's an axe stuck in the tree. There's first aid kit near this kitchen knife. And down there is a higashi and a toolkit, guys. And I think a bandage as well. So if you need that toolkit to repair anything, take it. There's another higashi. I'm just going to get our build ready for this boss. So our build is going to be Tanuki, Weasel, Serpent, Spider, and Elephant. This build has to last you for a fox form and a normal form. So it's kind of got to be a bit of a dynamic build, if you will. So again, Tanuki, Weasel, Serpent, Spider, and Elephant. Spider, so you charge up... No, sorry, Spider ain't for focus attacks. Oh, Spider is so durability doesn't go as quick when using light attacks. So yeah, Spider is to decrease our durability when we're using the knives. Elephant is so we don't get stunned, of course. Serpent is just because it'll be quite helpful because you'll automatically do counter attacks when the boss is going to do a move which can be countered. Weasel, of course, to increase your damage because that will work for fox form and normal form. And Tanuki, so you take sanity damage. Once ready, save your game. Make sure you've got 3 knives for durability. Of course, 10 to 15 divine water, 3 tea, 3 higashi, and let's do it. So you're going to begin in fox form. If you don't have full bestial form, use 2 divine water quickly. you also might want to just take a moment, guys, to make sure Higashi, Tea, and Divine Water are all in the same shortcut menu. So you know you've got 2 shortcut menus. Make sure, yes, Divine Water, Tea, and Higashi are all in the same one, because that might trip you off if they're not. So straight away, you're going to enter Bestial form. Like I said, if it's not ready, use 2 Divine Water. 2 Divine Water will take you from 0 to full gauge, ready to use it. And then you're going to keep using light attacks. When the boss jumps away, just run after it. Remember, in Bestial form, you're invincible. Well, you're not invincible, I mean, any damage you take knocks down your gauge. But if you did get knocked out before you kill it, just use 2 more Divine Water, go back into it, guys, keep attacking the boss. Now, in this form, use a Higashi, followed by a Tea, and run after the boss. You also want to use a Divine Water, by the way, because Divine Water actually increases your sanity defense. So something I forgot to do. But yeah, every time in this phase of the boss, use a Higashi, followed by Divine Water and the Tea last. You have to use the Tea last, because that lasts for the shortest time. And then once you use the Higashi, Divine Water and the Tea, run up to the boss and just keep knifing him. Then once you've defeated him, you'll be back on this face again. Use 2 Divine Water quickly to get your gauge back. Then wait for the boss to come close and then enter Bestial form. Now if the boss tries to like roar and charge you or do like a grab and attack, you can try to just tank it if you've got plenty of health, or dodge past it like I did. But yeah, like I say, once you're near the boss, don't worry about the dark enemies. I normally just run past them. Just get to the boss, enter Bestial form, because otherwise you're going to waste some of the gauge where it takes you chasing the boss. So chase the boss, enter Bestial form, and again just keep doing light attacks. I just did an automatic counter then, did you see that? And they do a lot of damage, by the way. So now back on the stage, again, Higashi, Divine Water, and a Tea. Again, I forgot to use Divine Water, but Divine Water is very helpful because it increases your defense, because it slightly increases your damage reduction on your sanity. And then once they're in effect, run towards the boss. I'm pretty much wasting my Tea at this point, but it's getting me some health back, as you can see. But without that Divine Water ready, I might not have got all my health knocked down then, because it would have increased my defense. And then once you back up to the boss, switch to a new knife. Yeah, a knife with full durability, and then just keep attacking the boss again. Yep, each time with that boss, switch to a new knife. Now back onto his face. It might try to grab you to begin with, where it will dash at you like that and roar. If it does that, try to dodge, because if not, it might grab you. If you've got plenty of health, you'll be okay. But when you get grabbed, it does actually inflict sanity damage and health damage, even if you have to nuke you, so keep that in mind. Grabs will always do a bit of health damage and sanity damage. And then of course, you're just using Divine Water, going straight back into Bestial form, and again, just keep pressing R1 to attack the boss. That's what we're going to keep doing, guys. Going back into Bestial form, R1 attacks, back into Bestial, R1 attacks. You can avoid the black enemies, just focus on the boss. Don't really bother doing strong attacks, because you'll find by the time you land a strong attack, the boss will jump out of the way, and most of the time you miss it anyway. And now back onto his face, again, Higashi, Divine Water, and a Tea. Then run up to the boss, switch to your 3rd and final knife. That's it, just keep attacking it. It might get quite low at this point. If it does, just switch to one of the other knives or your sacred swords. You've got plenty of Divine Water to get all your health back if you need to, so you shouldn't run into too much of a problem. Higashi gives you infinite stamina, which just allows you to keep pressing R1. And I should probably use the Divine Water at this point, so I've got no sanity left. And I was so close there. Yeah, so this is why you need to make sure you watch your health. So do not be afraid to use Divine Water, guys, if your sanity gets low. 10 to 15 Divine Water is plenty. And I think I did have to switch to another knife. If you manage to do like a automatic counter, that does a lot of damage. And then normally one knife is enough. But it's taken a lot longer at this point, I think, because I just didn't manage to do any automatic counters. The boss just, unluckily, did not do any, well, lucky for the boss, but unlucky for me. Yeah, didn't do any attacks which I could automatic counter. And there you go, Godslayer. Defeat the boss within 10 minutes. So it's a nice, easy way to beat it, guys. All you need is plenty of consumables. And then you don't really have to worry about dodging too many attacks. Just run up to it, tank the attacks, heal through them, keep attacking, and that's it. Get through cutscenes, you'll get that letter. After that letter, a few more cutscenes, and we're going to pop the final few trophies, which will be, there's going to be about 5 trophies now. You get 1 for this ending, ending number 4, and you'll get 1 for completing the game on action set to hard, action set to Lost in the Fog, which do stack, and puzzle set to Lost in the Fog, which doesn't stack. And I still have wings, obtained all trophies. So that's it, guys. The full platinum on Silent Hill F. And of course, just make sure you make a New Game Plus save, because you never know, they might release a DLC and you might want to come back to save at some point. I hope you've enjoyed the guide. 3 playthroughs, a bit longer than normal, but they've not been too slow, and it's been quite an accessible strategy as well, I think. Things have been a bit cuckoo at times, but I hope you found it quite easy to follow and quite enjoyable as well. So thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.